What's up, everybody? Welcome back. We're here to break down the main event this weekend at UFC Seattle between Israel Adesanya and Joe Pyfer. What's up? I'm Brian Jester, co-founder here at Occupy Fantasy. And if you're new here, welcome. Glad to have you. And if you're new, you may be wondering, who's this guy? Why should I listen to him when it comes to the UFC? Well, over the past few years, I've won $100,000 or more on 5 separate occasions in DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports flagship UFC contest. How do we do that? Well, every week we run the fight card through our projection model to tell us where the data differs from public perception and the betting markets. So let's see what the data is telling us this week for Izzy versus Joe Pyfer. So if you are an Izzy fan, this may have been the worst possible matchup to get announced for you, given the fact that he's been rocked and hurt in 4 of his past 5 fights, including his last 3. And Pyfer has 4 knockdowns in his last 3 fights alone, a huge power puncher. So that visual of Izzy not reacting well to pressure and getting hit doesn't bode well against a guy like Joe Pyfer. And the big question we have to answer here, as we look at the tail of the tape here on screen, is how does the level of competition align? Because for Izzy, he's been fighting the best of the best guys. Last few fights, Nasruddin Imavov probably should be fighting for the belt. Dracus du Plessis was the champion. Sean Strickland was the champion, is fighting for the belt once more. Compare that to Joe Pyfer. His big step up in competition came against Jack Hermanson a few fights ago, and he lost that in a 5-round decision. So now Izzy gets a step down in competition. Pyfer gets a step up in competition. And if we look at the tail of the tape here, we see that Izzy, even in the back half of his career, still lands more significant strikes per minute than Joe Pyfer, has the higher significant strike accuracy, but Pyfer does the more damaging shots, and we can't really quantify that with a statistic. Pyfer probably also has the wrestling edge here, attempts nearly 4 takedowns per 15 minutes. But Izzy has a pretty solid takedown defense, 76%. Pyfer couldn't land any of his 6 takedown attempts against Jack Hermanson. And if we look to our Occupy model this week, generally it can tell us which side it favors in this fight. However, both these guys are pretty closely ranked. And one of the big stories of the week is the betting markets and the money line. Because when this fight opened for betting, Joe Pyfer was a small favorite and Izzy was a small underdog. But over the course of the week, and now I'm recording this on Thursday afternoon, we see Izzy up to a -160 favorite in some spots. As a result, his OF index, our projection, has moved slightly higher than Joe Pyfer's. But overall, these guys don't rank highly at all in our model compared to the other fights on this card. So what does that tell us? It tells us 2 things. If you're playing daily fantasy sports this week in our FanDuel or DraftKings, it's one of those cards where you can probably fade the main event and not play one of these fighters in your lineups. And we can't say that very often because the model expects, based on their low projections, a kickboxing match, a low volume kickboxing match at that, and an unlikely chance of an early finish despite Joe Pyfer's power and his aggression. It also means that this fight should be slower paced, could go the distance, and because we don't have the chance of an early knockout, we could see a good decision prop on either one of these guys. I will say, given how closely they're rated, the value now that the line has moved is probably on Pyfer. You can get him at +140 or better, depending on the book that you're looking at. I'm really curious to see how this fight plays out with Izzy step down in competition, Pyfer step up in competition, but also their stages in their career. Pyfer likely on the way up, Izzy on the way out, more than likely. So we'll see how it goes. If you like this type of breakdown and you want some more fight breakdowns, you should subscribe to our free cheat sheet. It's free. The link is in the description below, and you'll get analysis for 3 more fights that are data-driven. All you have to do is you click the link in the description. You'll get taken to our website, enter your email address. Every Saturday morning, we'll email you the cheat sheet with 3 more fights and analysis. Also, because we're doing this on the new channel, we're also doing some YouTube shorts. So 60 to 90-second breakdowns on debuting fighters and other interesting matchups. So there's a good chance just by subscribing to this channel that you'll get breakdowns on half the fights for an entire card. And again, you can subscribe to the channel, get notified when those videos release. And if you want the full model rankings, you can go to our website, occupyfantasy.com, get rankings for every single fight on the card, as well as our write-up for every single card. That link is also in the description. So I'm Brian for Occupy. We appreciate you watching. As always, good luck and enjoy UFC Seattle.